30 years. Take these off. They will be right with you, okay?
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Hi there, Melissa?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Detective Radigan. This is my partner, Detective Working Team. Talk to you a minute. Are those reading glasses? Or
They're prescription glasses. I just put my sunglasses on when the officers pulled me over.
can you see without them if you take them off?
You're blurry, but I can see.
Okay, well, I'll have you put them back on. If you want to slide up to the table real quick, I'll explain to you what's going on. Do you have any idea why you would be down here?
I don't.
Okay, we'll explain that to you.
Let me go ahead and get her information.
Yeah, she's going to get some personal information from you.
That's Melissa, correct?
Correct.
M-E-L-I.
S-S-A.
And middle name?
Jo, J-O.
And last name?
Schaefer, S-C-H-A-F as in Frank, E-R.
How old are you, Melissa?
51.
And date of birth?
50. I'll be 51 in a week.
What is your date of birth?
7/11/69.
And good address for you.
1201 West McCarty Street.
The M-C-C-A-R-T-Y.
Mm-hmm.
What's your zip code here?
65109.
And a good contact number?
573-234-0070.
Okay. All right. Good.
Melissa, how long have you been here on McCarty Street?
Since end of January, maybe?
Of this year?
Yes.
Where were you at before?
Let's see, I moved back to Fulton in Labor Day weekend. September, I might have been at that one. I moved back there, and I had lived there up in Fulton for 3.5 years.
You moved back here from Fulton.
Right. So
you were here before, went to Fulton, and then came back.
I was in Fulton, then I moved to I lived in North Carolina for a couple months for a traveling position. Then I moved back to Fulton, and then I left, and now I'm in Jeff City.
Okay. Have you always been in Missouri?
No.
Where have you been?
I was born and raised in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Oh, okay.
And then in '95, I moved down to Florida, and I spent most of my adult life down in Florida.
When did you leave Florida?
I left Florida officially in March of 2016 to move up to help my dad take care of my mother in Monroe City.
Oh, okay. And what do you do for a living?
Occupational therapy assistant.
What is that? What is?
You know what physical therapy is?
Mm-hmm.
Occupational therapy, we deal with like the upper body and functional things in the home.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
25 years.
Oh.
Iowa. Yeah, I graduated and then moved, so I've been since '95.
Okay.
Where'd you go to school at? What was that at?
Kirkwood. I mean, I went to University of Northern Iowa for a couple years.
Okay.
Then I got my degree at Kirkwood Community College. And I also have a bachelor's from Ashford University.
Children?
2 daughters.
Oh, yeah? How old?
30 and almost 29.
Okay. All right. Are you currently married, single?
I am divorced.
Divorced?
Yep.
Okay.
Or I like to prefer single. Divorce doesn't
It's a stigma.
It does. I don't know why. Yeah.
Can you just check single?
I have actually started checking single.
That.
I'm like,
married, divorced, single.
I don't like to say that.
I
It's
know.
kind of a sore subject.
Just one divorce, or?
No, I have a few.
Me too.
The last one is like the worst one, I think.
I got 4 under my belt.
I think this is 4.
Oh, okay.
So this is the only one I wanted, but it didn't work out that way.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. All right. Well, like I said,
So do you say you're single?
I'm currently married.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like-
I'm on my fourth one,
Okay.
so starting all over. Adopted a 5-year-old and all that stuff. I already have a 26-year-old daughter from another marriage, so.
we're all about the
Just
same
don't
age.
yeah. Yeah, we both sound like we've all been through the same thing, so.
Well, Melissa, your name has come up in an investigation that we've been working on, and I want to ask you some questions specifically about it.
Okay.
But prior to me doing that, because it is a criminal investigation, I'm going to advise you of your constitutional rights. So, are you under the influence of any medications or anything?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Do you take any medications at all?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Not that aren't like herbs or...
Good for you. Good. All right. Any diagnosis with any mental illness? I have to ask. Okay. And the one question I hate to ask, but I have to ask it, is can you read and write?
I can.
I know you can.
I know there's lots of people out there that can't, so...
Well, I just want you to understand what I'm reading here. So, we're from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay.
Okay? So, this is the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office.
Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm just like... Wow, okay.
Why?
No, I'm just like... it took me a second to process, like, Florida, okay?
Anything?
No.
Okay.
No, nothing. I'm
Okay.
just like going...
kind of...
No, because I actually still say, even though I'm in Jeff City,
Yeah.
I will go ahead and say, well, Jacksonville, because I lived in Jacksonville for a long time, so.
What's a long time?
I was probably in Jacksonville about 14 and a half years.
Oh, okay.
And then I moved down to South Florida when my kids started going off to college.
Okay. Well, I can see where that would kind of...
Yeah.
Okay. So, we are in the Jefferson City Police Department. And today is the 2nd of July. And what time do you have? I have 3:21. I'm going to use military time. So, Melissa, I know you said you can read and write. Just do me a favor. Can you read that top line out loud for me?
You have the following rights under the United States Constitution.
Okay. I'm going to read each of these rights to you. If you have any questions about anything I'm reading to you, please let me know and we'll go through them.
Okay.
So you do not have to make a statement or say anything. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before you make a statement or before questions are asked of you, and have a lawyer with you during any questioning. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed for you before any questioning if you wish. If you do answer questions, you have the right to stop answering questions at any time and consult with the lawyer. Do you understand those rights?
I do.
Okay. Understanding those rights, can you initial each of those that you understood them and sign there for me? Thank you. So tell me about your time in Jacksonville. It's quite a...
What do you want to know? I moved down there with 2 little girls, and...
Where did you live at?
I lived several places.
I've been there for 25 years, so.
I lived in... where did I move to? I'm trying to think of the apartment complex and even what part of town. I can't even think of what it's called right now. Anyway, I lived there for about 8 months until I found a place for the kids and I to move out to the beach because I was always out at the beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I lived in Neptune Beach.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a boyfriend. He moved in with me, and then we moved in together in Jacksonville Beach.
Okay.
And eventually we ended up getting married, and we stayed there for a while. And then we had a house built out in Ponte Vedra, and we lived there together for, I'm trying to think when I left, maybe in 2006, or 2006, I think, 2005, 2006. I moved out. I still stayed in Ponte Vedra because the kids went to school there. And I lived in a couple different areas in Ponte Vedra, rented. And then when they went off to college, I headed on down to Deerfield Beach. And I was in Deerfield Beach, or the area, Boca, for the rest of the time until I moved up here.
The husband in Jacksonville, would that be, which husband would that?
Robert, William.
Was that number 2,
That was
one?
number 2.
Number 2, okay.
Yep. So the girl's father, I married and divorced in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And we were married 3 years, I want to say. And then moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And then we always called him Robert, but his first name's William. William Robert, yep.
When did you build a house in Ponte
when did we do that? I don't know if it was in... I think it was, I don't know, is it Ponte Vedra or Palm Valley? Ponte Vedra, I think, is what it's related to.
Yeah.
And then I want to say 04, maybe?
You built it in 04?
Yeah. We were there a few years, and he was there another year after I moved out. I think it was 04.
How was that marriage?
The first 5 were okay, and the last 5 were not so okay.
Why?
So we got along. I mean, I'll say that we got along. It just wasn't, I just wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And the house was my idea. I thought getting a house would, so it was really, well, you know, keep us active, give us something to, you know, put our energy into. So I put all my energy into it, and, you know, you just had other plans, so.
Was he abusive at all, or?
No, not physically. You know, no, I wouldn't say that.
Good.
Just probably not what I wanted or needed, I guess. So, I mean, we left on good terms. He sold the house, and we split it, and I think we'd keep in contact off and on just to check in and see how he was jealous of me. So I said, I don't want to get you in trouble for just checking in on me.
Right.
So, you know, you shouldn't do that.
Are your daughters still close with him? Or?
No, I told him not to expect it. That's just not his nature. Like, I don't think even he stays close with his own kids.
Yeah.
You know, and it bothered him at first, but I just said, that's, you know, Robert, so you're expecting something out of somebody that's not capable of doing that.
So kind of going down memory lane a little bit, anything jarring you why we would be talking to you from Jacksonville still?
No.
Okay. And you were married to William Baer, also Billy Baer.
Correct.
Okay.
That's the same as William.
Yeah,
that.
Robert Baer. When I first met him, he introduced himself as Robert. So it was actually some time before I realized that it was his middle name. But honestly, only my family and probably the friends that I had that I introduced him to there knew him as Robert. Like, everybody else just knew him pretty much as Billy, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, all the work people knew him as Billy.
His work people, or?
Yeah.
What did he do?
He was a police officer. When I met him, he was on the bomb squad.
Okay.
And then he went into, I think, the detective division.
What did he do in detectives, do you know?
Nope. I know at one time he was doing fire. I don't know. There towards the end, he had actually a police car. So I'm not, you know. So the time before that, it was just his own vehicle.
Yeah.
And then something changed in the department or whatever. He ended up having a police vehicle.
Like a marked car when you say police vehicle.
Yeah, something
with a light on it.
Yeah.
So when he was a detective, do you remember what kind of cars he would have had? They weren't obviously marked, right? They were detective cars. Like we drive Ford Fusions now.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know when we bought the house, he got a Ford Sport Track. Like when the Ford first came out with that
Ford
extended truck. Yeah. So I know we had that.
What color was that?
That was black.
And that was a department car. It was an issued car?
Nope. No, the only issued car that I thought he had, now if the car that he drove around when I first met him was issued, I didn't know about it. I just figured it was his. So when I met him, he had already left his wife and was going through a divorce, which I didn't know about for a few months into our relationship. But he was the SRO. He had the trailer on the school property. I don't know if they still do that down there or not.
Yeah.
Which is like the only place that I've ever heard of that.
Yeah.
So And he said we could save money, so
Yeah.
I had a place on the beach, so when we moved in together, then we ended up moving over to there, which worked out for the kids because they ended up going to school right there.
Where was that at? Where was it?
In Jacksonville Beach.
In
It was
Jacksonville. And you met him what year?
I moved there in June of 95, and I met him, I want to say, in September or October of 95.
95.
So I met him in 95.
And then you didn't know for how long before he knew he was going through a divorce?
I didn't know until, February or March.
Oh, it's 96?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he's going through a divorce. You move in to the...
Yep, he moved in with me first, at my place in Neptune Beach.
Okay.
So, and I'm trying to think when I got that place. It was in the spring. I don't know if it was March or April that I got that place in Neptune. And first he had broke it off with me. And then he came back, and then he broke it off because I had found out that he was married. So, and then he said he was still married, but he had moved out, and he had been living with a friend of his for the last 6 months. He just didn't want to tell me about it. And so I believed him.
Yeah.
And then he asked if he could move in with me. I said sure. And so we lived together in Neptune Beach until I guess the school made his wife leave because she was still in the trailer.
Mm.
So when they found out that he wasn't there,
not there, she
exactly.
Can't stay there. Right.
So they found that out, and he's like, "Well, we have to move, and it's
Mhm.
going to be cheaper." So that's how we ended up. That's how we ended up there. I
Mhm.
mean, I didn't want to go there; it was their place, but it was whatever. Just.
But he said that was a great place to save money.
Yep.
It usually is. That's we owe a lot of.
Yeah, you know, property taxes.
Yep.
You don't pay water or.
So I imagine with his divorce,
it worked out.
and he was needing money.
Right.
Those aren't cheap.
Yeah,
and then,
no, and she didn't take a lump sum, so he has to pay her alimony, and they still had 2 kids at the time, so he paid on that as well.
Was that stressful during your relationship?
No, he didn't really talk about it. It was a little bit when he was going through the divorce, but it seemed to kind of just go through arbitration. It was just going to be whatever it was going to be.
Because he's got a couple kids, right?
He does.
Yeah.
So they're
He's
older.
paying alimony and child support.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well, so I know a little bit about Billy, and
well, if you've been down there for a while, you probably do.
I'm getting ready to retire, so I've been there. I was just coming on, I think when he was leaving. I'd been on a couple years when he was leaving. So I always heard the name Billy Baer. I was, he's he was a homicide detective. I think he was an intelligence detective.
I know he did the homicide before I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He basically did it because of the overtime.
Yeah.
Well, capable of coming back. What he said is that was the easiest way to go ahead and make a lot of overtime,
Mm-hmm.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
I guess if you want to hurry up and get all that stuff paid off. And
it's a lot of hard work for a lot of overtime. So
I think
it's
so.
not easy overtime. That's for sure.
No. And I know that when he retired, he was already talking about going into PI work.
Mm-hmm.
He had a friend that was already doing that. I can't even think of the gentleman's name that had done like 20 years in homicide. And I'm like, how would you do that many years in homicide? But that's what that guy had retired in, was homicide.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I know him, Not personally. Still not ringing a bell? Still flabbergasted about Jacksonville?
I am.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you one thing about me. Sorry if I do cuss a little bit, so I don't bullshit.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to play games. And quite frankly, I'm just going to come straight to the point. I appreciate your honesty. It's been great reminiscing with you a little bit, but I'm going to go straight to the point. He's been on homicide for about 18 years. I've been on homicide for 16 years.
Okay.
Okay, so we know how that worked. We are currently assigned to a cold case unit, so we look at old cases. Now, before I go into anything any further, Melissa, this case is 21 years old, okay?
Okay.
I know all the players, and thanks to wonderful technology, okay, I've gotten a lot of great evidence. Before I get into any evidence, and before I get into anything about you, I'm stepping to you.
Okay.
Okay? This here is your opportunity. Okay? And you're going to see where I'm coming from. This is your opportunity to tell me everything. Do you remember when Billy was in intelligence? He was on a money laundering task force?
Yes.
Okay. Ringing a bell yet?
Yes.
Okay. And this is what I said. This is your opportunity. Okay? I know you're there. I know Billy's there because of this fantastic technology. And if you watch any TV, you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So with that being said, I know your role and I know his role. Okay? So all right, I'm going to read this as a consent. I'm going to read this to you. I, Melissa Jo Schaefer, having been advised that a law enforcement officer pursuant to a lawful criminal investigation, which it is, this homicide investigation, requests buccal swabs, which are swabs of the mouth,
Right.
from my persons, authorized Detective M. Radigan, which is me, and other law enforcement officers as he, should be she, may assign to assist him in taking of the samples. I have not been promised anything, and I have not been threatened or coerced to provide a consent. I'm providing this consent voluntarily with the understanding that any evidence obtained may be used against me in all criminal proceedings. I have been advised that I have the right to refuse to provide consent. Do you understand that?
I do.
And understanding that consent, you wish to submit swabs?
Yes.
Okay. Do me a favor, right here, sign and then print, and then we'll sign underneath. Get some rubber gloves.
Let me go get it.
Yeah, if you want to grab this one. I'll put them in there.
Are they back with your stuff anywhere, or just see if they've got?
See if they've got something and we'll... Like I said, I know you've got a lot racing through your mind right now. After we do this, we're going to step out for a little bit. Do you want some water?
I would like some water.
I'll get you some water.
I'm not going to tell you I'm not scared to death,
I
but I can tell you
know what you're going to say.
So, he has no idea that you're investigating this?
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay. I'm like,
What
well,
do you
that's
think
gonna
he's
be
gonna say?
that's gonna be a big shock to him if
You
he
think
doesn't
he's
know.
gonna talk to us or say anything?
Have you done this before, being in your
ma'am.
profession?
Mm-mm.
So this is just a cotton swab. I'm gonna let you take it out of here and
Okay.
slide it back in. One cotton swab for each side of the mouth. When you put this in, kind of firmly swab along your gum line, up and lower, and the side of your mouth. We'll slide it back in. Do the other one on the other side, and we'll put it in here.
Okay.
I'll let you take that out. One for one side.
I was gonna go on the right side.
That's fine, either side. Whatever side you want. It's kind of like brushing your teeth a little bit. Rub it along your gum line, lower and upper. Kind of twirl it around. Slide it right back in there. I have big hands, but I don't have hands that big.
Well, you don't have tight gloves either, so if the gloves fit you better, you'd be able to get it.
Works better?
Yeah.
We'll get you some water, and then we're going to step out for a little bit and be back in.
Okay.
Bring that water in for you real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You need anything other than water right now, Melissa? Or
Well, I'm sure I'm probably gonna need a lawyer somewhere along the way.
that's for you to decide. We can't make that choice for you.
Well, don't I have to have a lawyer?
You will eventually.
Yeah. Are you saying you want one now, or are you?
No,
are you
no,
still
no,
okay
I'm-
talking?
no,
You're
no,
just saying
I-
eventually.
no.
It's going to
Like
be
I said,
a
we got
process.
it clear.
So
Yeah,
there is
no,
a warrant, and that's what you were picked up on today inside of our jurisdiction, and it is for armed robbery, and it is for murder. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to step out for a little bit. We'll get you that water, and we'll be right back in, okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Be right back, okay?
All right.
Doing all right? Get some water?
Yep, I got some water.
Got a couple, I got questions.
I just going through,
You're gonna go to jail. You're gonna be taken back to Jacksonville eventually, okay?
Is there any way I can get my affairs in order here? Since I'm the only one here and I got 2 little dogs.
Do you have anybody that you can call that help with the dogs? Maybe your neighbor?
My neighbor has the dogs right now.
Okay.
Can I post a bail?
There is none.
Okay.
You'll have access to a phone. You can reach him and let him know.
Okay.
Okay. But you won't have a bond, and you'll eventually be extradited back to,
I figured that.
unless you waive it, you can go back.
Unless I waive it and go away.
So there's extradition. You can either waive it and get back to Jacksonville sooner. If you decide not to waive it, you can fight it and stay here longer. But eventually it'll go through a court process. But you'll be booked in the jail tonight.
while you're here, you probably, like I said, they'll let you use a phone here and stuff. I'm
Or
assuming
jail,
they'll
maybe.
put- Yeah.
At
Call
the
your
jail, you'll
neighbor,
have
let 'em
access to do all that.
know, so.
Okay. Is there anything else I can answer for you?
No.
All right.
Yeah, hang tight.
I'll be right back with you.
Hey, Melissa,
Hey.
have you come with me? We're just gonna... We're gonna go into this room right here. There's another gentleman with like a suitcase.
How are you doing? I'm Lee Hutton, prosecutor.